What's up, guys? My name's Captain Dave and welcome back to the Captain's Quarters, the video in which I go through and answer all your questions and comments from last week's video. And to start things off, I'm going to try and shoot through this one as quickly as possible because last week's video generated an impressive 97 comments from you guys. So I think we're definitely breaking the hour barrier today. So I'm going to try and shoot through these as quickly as possible so I can get all of your questions and comments answered. I dread to think of the day when I get too many comments and I have to cherry pick who I'm going to answer. But it looks like it's very fast coming that way. So just in the interest of speed, if I have any top 5 questions that I've been asked from last week, what I'll do is just randomly throw out 5 answers in no particular order. Because unless I have the top 5 just off the top of my head, it takes me too much time trying to generate a top 5. So if I get any questions from that last week, I'm just going to spout out the first 5 answers that come into my head. But anyway, let's get this thing moving. Starting off with Turk for Live 66 said, Dave, if you could redesign a Marvel character, who would you redesign? P.S. Keep up the good work. Redesign? I'm not entirely sure, actually. It depends how you really mean it, because there's a few characters that I don't necessarily like the way, I don't necessarily like the character, so there's a few things that maybe I could input to say, oh, this would make the character better, and then there are other characters I like, but then I think the way they've gone around doing stuff is a bit wrong. So I mean, there's 2 ways of looking at it. To be honest, the best example I can think is like with the Ultimate Universe. I think that was a good redesign of Spider-Man, because they knew where it was going with all these enemies and like Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, Gwen Stacy, all that. They knew exactly where all of that was going. They could bring in all of these enemies in a new sense. So whereas before they would bring in a new enemy and they'd have all this story and backstory and blah 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 blah. When they bring in people like Venom, for example, it didn't span over months worth of comics telling the Venom story because everyone knew what it was. So they could bring him in, bish bash bush, after one comic already he knows, oh crap, I've got to get this suit off. And I figured that it was a great way, because they knew where it was going, they could redesign the entire Spider-Man saga into a much quicker, hard-hitting story. So, to be honest, I think that's quite good to do to every character, if I'm sitting on the fence and being perfectly honest. I think if they just, every single character, like they've done in the Ultimate Universe, they know all their enemies, they know all their story arcs, and they were to start from the beginning, they could make a much more polished off version of that character. But if I was to pick one that should be redesigned, I don't know, Daredevil, probably. A lot of people I know like Daredevil, and I think Daredevil has such great potential, but I always just feel he's very, very underused in the Marvel Universe. I mean, look at every big comic book event out there. You got Civil War, I mean, I know he was there, obviously. You got Civil War, you got the Secret War, you've got Avengers vs. X-Men, there's another massive one I'm forgetting, House of M. You got all these big, and there's obviously loads I'm forgetting, all these big Marvel events, and Daredevil is looked over every single time, and I think I actually remember reading something in New Avengers where eventually they got him in as part of the New Avengers team. It's the fact that he's been around just as long as the rest, and yet he's never in the big leagues with the rest of them. So I figured maybe that could, as I said, I've never really read Daredevil. Have I just been saying Deadpool? I just have this horrible fear that I've been saying Deadpool. But I've got a feeling that Daredevil maybe would have been a lot more popular and would have done a lot more better in the sort of popular stream of things if they maybe redesigned him. Like if they could go back to scratch, I think they'd do things a bit differently, make him a bit better. But that's just my opinion. I've never actually really read Daredevil. Turk for Live 66 also said, how many comic books do you own? Oh, God knows. I don't know. As I say, in the interest of speed, it would be way, way, way too long to sit here and count. I mean, just looking at my graphic novel collection, which I get sort of like in the post every month, they've got issue 54 sitting there right now. So I have at least 54, if I count all my other comics I've got with it. So, I mean, I tend to read most of my stuff online. It's just the ones I've read and I absolutely love. I tend to like to get them in a paperback or hardback copy, just so I know I have them sitting there. So, if anything, if the interwebs was ever to be destroyed one day, I could still read them. Jack Lunez said, hi Dave, or what you getting for Christmas? I don't know, it's a surprise. I don't know, I haven't even thought about it, it's October. I was just actually in the pub earlier, and they've got Christmas decorations up. Baffles my mind, it's October. It hasn't even been Halloween yet. Craziness! That's absolute craziness. But no, I have no idea what I'm getting for Christmas. Probably not much. You sort of, as you get older in age, Christmas and birthdays and stuff, there's not really as much you want because you've got money and you buy it throughout the year. So I don't know. What are you getting for Christmas? Yeah, go on, guys. Feel free to let me know what you're getting for Christmas this year. Might as well. I never ask you questions, do I? My faithful pet from Mass Effect, said, have you pre-ordered Batman Arkham Origins yet? And congrats on 8,000 subs, thank you. Oh, and then you've noticed that I answered that last week. But yeah, if anyone didn't see last week's video, yes, I have pre-ordered Arkham Origins, and I'll be picking it up in a couple of days, so can't guarantee obviously a walkthrough from it anytime soon. I'm still trying to fix this issue with my Xbox. I think I've narrowed it down. But Robert Hill, and also, sorry, I pre-ordered it on Xbox. I had the last two on Xbox. I just figured it was fitting to carry on with that genre, or that console type. I'm babbling. Robert Hill said, which version of Lego Marvel Superheroes are you planning on getting, the normal or the special game edition with extra missions and characters? I was not aware there was a special game edition with extra missions and characters, so I will most likely be getting the special edition. I always try and get the special edition if I can. Also, if you could for me, is it to get the special game edition? Do I have to pre-order it, or can I just buy it in shop, like from game as the special game edition? Let me know, please. Obviously, I don't want to miss that pre-order, like landmark or whatever it's called, milestone. If I do have to pre-order it. That ninth path said, yo Dave, have you played Prototype or Prototype 2? If you have, do you think you could do a walkthrough of either one of them? No, but just like Infamous, it's a game that I've wanted to play. It looks quite cool, like the whole sort of free roaming, you've got powers kind of thing. It is for me, it's on par with Infamous. I want to play both, and one day I will get around to playing both, but maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. I could see myself maybe doing an Infamous and Prototype walkthrough, like way in the future when I eventually get around to playing them. That depends, as I say, if I play them and I actually like them. But the ninth path also asked, what if Beanox created a Spider-Man game based the Spider-Man Island story arc? How do you they would do it? How do you they would do it? I like that. I want to use that more. How do you they would do it? I'm not sure though. I think doing one around the Spider Island story arc would actually be quite a good idea. It's one of the more sort of recent story arcs I've actually read. I'm trying to think, how would they do it? Because obviously if they actually had everyone going around with spider powers, it wouldn't make you special at all. They'd probably make it that normal civilians would hurt you and stuff. They'd have spider powers, but they'd probably in the game they'd make it so they're a lot nerfed. They're very much weaker than your actual Spider-Man character, and then the actual bad guys would have maybe an increased Spider-Man power. Who knows? Obviously they couldn't actually have everyone with the exact same spider power, so maybe they'd make it like some of them can web swing, some of them can fight, some of them can jump, but they're all a weaker version of Spider-Man, so that way you can actually fight them in combat. The Gaminator 7 asked, do I watch Doctor Who? And Babylon 218 answered it for me, saying, no, I do not. Never really been interested, unfortunately. Robert Hill said, oh, and Dave, if you listen to a good rock band, listen to Biffy Clyro. Their lyrics are so meaningful, and I'm sure you'll like them as much as I do. I've heard a bit of Biffy. Biffy are alright. They're, as I say, I like music quite a lot. I'll never go anywhere without listening to my music, but I'm not exactly that into it. I've gone like Reading and V and stuff like that, and I've gone to see gigs live, but it's nothing that really gets me going. I'm there and I'm like, oh, that's cool, but yeah, Biffy alright. Incidentally, actually just today I had a guy coming in doing a lecture in one of the lecture theatres, obviously, and he was the guy who made the music video for Biffy Clyro. I'm not sure which one it was we watched, because as I say, I don't know too much about Biffy, but yeah, he makes quite a lot of Biffy Clyro's music videos, and he was having a chat talking about the industry and stuff like that, so just thought I'd throw that in there, just by the by. Josh Jenks said, nice one, I'm pre-ordering Arkham Origins 11 days now, or even less than that now. Would you like a Spider-Man game based on Superior Spider-Man, so we see a more ruthless, more violent gameplay? I'm not sure. As I say, once Amazing ended and Superior started, I kind of stopped reading. Not really to do with Superior Spider-Man. Not that I didn't want to read it, I just felt that was a good point to stop reading. I do plan on picking it up again one day, but I didn't like the way they ended Amazing either. But getting back on topic, I would play it if they brought one out. I mean, I don't see why not. A Spider-Man game is always a good Spider-Man game to me. Ignoring Web of Shadows, of course. Which, I still haven't brought myself up to playing it yet. I've got too many other good things going on. But I don't know, I'd give it a go. I mean, obviously, in time, if they are to make more Spider-Man's games, eventually it's going to have to go down the superior Spider-Man route. They can't just always focus on Amazing. I mean, give it another 5-10 years down the line, Superior is going to be probably more popular than Amazing, because more kids are getting into comics and stuff like that. So, eventually there will probably be a superior Spider-Man game. So yeah, I'd play it. I'm not sure whether I'd enjoy it as much as the old Peter Parker, but... Josh Jenks also said, have you heard that they are bringing out an Amazing Spider-Man 2 game at the same time as the second movie? Keep up the great work. Yes, I have actually. I think it was one of you guys in the comments to one of these videos said if I seen the Amazing Spider-Man 2 teaser trailer, which I hadn't. So, once again, you guys have brought me into the light about information that I'm really kept in the dark about. But, yeah, they did that the same with the first Amazing Spider-Man game. They brought it out, it was actually like a week or two prior to the movie coming out, and dropped some massive spoilers for the film. So, I am definitely going to get Amazing Spider-Man 2. I can't wait for the actual film to come out as well. But with regards to playing it, I think this time I might actually wait and watch the film first. Because, I mean, obviously if you haven't seen any of the Spider-Man games or the film, close your ears for a second. But it was... it was kind of obvious that obviously Kurt Connors was going to die. I mean, Kurt Connors was going to die? He didn't die. That Captain Stacy was going to die. I mean, when has there ever been a Spider-Man universe where Captain Stacy hasn't died? I mean, that was obvious it was going to happen. But still, playing the game first and then Gwen goes, he killed my father. It was just like, you're sitting at the film thinking, well, that's kind of ruined the suspense on that. So, I think with regards to Spider-Man 2, I might hold off playing it until I've actually seen the film. Just so spoilers aren't there, because I've got a feeling it's going to be again a sequel to the film. Urs said, P.S. I loved Amazing Spider-Man Back in Black and One More Day. Thanks for answering my question. You're most welcome. And yeah, I enjoyed them too. I thought they were good, despite maybe a couple of negative points. I thought they were good. Josh Jenks said, do you agree that Skye from Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is really hot? Yes, I do. Kind of unbelievable that she's a tech nerd kind of person, but I mean, that's Hollywood for you after all, isn't it? So, if they actually had a character who was fug ugly playing that role, then probably wouldn't draw in that big a crowd. But S.H.I.E.L.D's actually starting to get a little bit better. I'm kind of glad it is. It's the last episode I watched, I don't know how far America is or other countries are in front of England, but the last one I watched, it's starting to get a bit better. I don't know, I feel like the acting might be improving, the story's starting to pick up like a bit of traction. So my prediction of S.H.I.E.L.D. getting better looks like it's slowly getting on track. Gareth Vakarian said, did you hear about the new villain in Batman Arkham Origins, Dave? His name is Electrocutioner, and he is voiced by none other than Steve Blum. Well, no, I didn't hear about that. I am absolutely 100% in the dark about Arkham Origins. When I play it, everything will be new to me. I have not watched, other than the original, like, was it like a teaser trailer where it's got Batman against Deathstroke? Other than that initial cinematic trailer, I have not watched any trailers, no gameplay, nothing about Arkham Origins. So I know absolutely zero, so everything's going to be a shock to me. But, hey, if Steve Blum's in it, good. I'm kind of glad they gave him a bigger role, because he did actually do voices in, at least Arkham City, I know that much. Right at the very start with, the Black Cat DLC. Yeah, she's, the Black Cat? Well, hang on, no, that's Marvel, sorry, her Catwoman. Wait, I'm getting my comics mixed up here. But yeah, in that very first mission, you can hear Steve Blum very prominently as one of the villains, like the sort of NPC side characters. So yeah, I'm glad he's getting his own character. Josh Jenks said, completely admit I also stared at Scarlett Johansson in Avengers. Yeah, I'm not surprised they used that scene when she was breaking out of captivity as a teaser trailer for the movie. I'm sure that got a lot of people who weren't comic book fans interested. Jim Vernier said, Pokemon X and Y are pretty ridiculous graphics-wise, I swear. Do you mean ridiculous as in very good ridiculous, or ridiculous as in that's pretty crap ridiculous? Because to be honest, either point could be argued, but if you look back at Pokemon Red and Blue and then look at where it is now, I mean, the game's evolved like tenfold. And I swear, playing it now, I actually give a crap about my Pokemon. It's like I've gotten them all evolved now, but there's plenty I want to use, but I don't want to put them in the box because I actually. It's stupid because they're like pixels on the screen, but I actually like them and I don't want to get rid of them. So making it 3D has definitely helped with that factor. But yeah, I personally think, considering where it come from, the graphics in Pokemon X and Y now are pretty amazing. The Candyman 13 said, Spider Dave, what do you think of Miles Morales as the new Ultimate Spider-Man? If you read those, I read, I think there's about 4 or 5 of the first ones, and I like him. I think he's alright. I loved, as you know, I loved Ultimate Spider-Man, like the original, so nothing's going to ever compare to Peter Parker in my mind. I'm one of them people where he could be the best superhero ever invented, and I'll be like, look, he's good, but he's not Peter Parker, so. But no, I like him. I think it's alright. It was a nice twist. It was a complete change up. They made him younger, made him different ethnicity, different background. So yeah, and I like how they didn't just completely ignore cut out all the characters from the original Ultimate Spider-Man. Like at one point he bumps into like Mary Jane and Aunt May and stuff like that. So I think it's good, and I'd love to actually read more Ultimate Spider-Man, but I think he's alright. He's a good replacement. And you also had a Mass Effect question that said, can you sing Samara's name again? Funny as hell. Well, just for you, I can definitely sing her theme, which is Samara, the Justicar, on iTunes. Should get that as a ringtone or something. Oh god, I'm probably going to butcher your name, but Sasku357 said, ahoy Captain, Sailor Jack here. Would you be able to check out a couple of games called Jade Empire and Dragon Age? Both are made by BioWare, and it's similar in a lot of ways to Mass Effect. Thanks for your hard work. You're most welcome. I haven't heard much about Jade Empire, but I've looked into Dragon Age quite a lot, actually. I think I used to watch someone live stream, and I think he played Dragon Age. So, mate, for the future, I think that's definitely something that I'm interested in getting, is Dragon Age. So and then I'll look into Jade Empire. Is that? Oh, actually, don't worry. I was going to ask you a question, but I can look into it myself. I was wondering if Jade Empire is set back in the same sort of time frame as Dragon Age, or if it's kind of more of a futuristic game. But I'll research it myself. But yeah, Dragon Age is definitely something I've looked into. Mega Blaziken said, "Aye, aye, Captain. Aye, aye to you too. Have you been using Mega Blaziken in Pokemon?" Just out of curiosity. Went with the old Bulbasaur route myself. JDude281 said, cool, I have distant relatives from Essex. The last name was Ua. Haven't come across them myself. Essex is quite a big place. All right. Oh, looks like I've got quite a few questions here. Jackson Skeen said, well, who is your favourite Batman? Commander Shepard, Juggernaut, Spider-Man, or Deadpool? Ooh. Oh, put me on the spot here. It's definitely oh no, Juggernaut as well. It's a toss-up between Commander Shepard, Juggernaut, and Spider-Man. But being honest with you, Juggernaut is hilarious, but mainly, actually, if I'm being honest, because of My Way Entertainment. Without him, he wouldn't be half as funny as he is. It's a toss-up between Commander Shepard and Spider-Man. I mean, I've got the tattoo to prove Spider-Man's the winner, but I don't know, Commander Shepard's pretty awesome too. I'd have to go with Spider-Man, I think. Long-term Spider-Man, he's always going to be the way to go. He also asked, what game do you recommend me to start my channel with? Entirely up to you. I'd say whatever your favourite game is. Because then, say your favourite game. Because then you don't have to worry as much about losing and dying and stuff like that. Because I'm assuming you've probably played it 1,000 times if it's your favourite game. You'll know it inside out. And then that way you can concentrate on just getting good gameplay. And if you're doing commentary over the top, then having something interesting to talk about. So yeah, I'd say start off with your favourite game, and then who knows, a year or two down the line, when you've got more subscribers, or you're getting better at the whole gaming wire commentating sort of thing, you could redo the walkthrough again, sort of like a 2 years later sort of thing. So yeah, I'll just say whatever your favourite game is, just go with that. Who do you think would win between Commander Shepard or Batman? Probably Batman. I want to say Shepard, but probably Batman. I've got to let Batman win one of these eventually, so yeah, Shep's good, but probably Batman's got the edge on him. Batman did beat Superman once after all, so Shepard's good, but he's not that good. and I want to play Spider-Man Edge of Time. Can you help me out? I'm not really sure what I can help you out with, to be honest. The best help I could really give you with Edge of Time is watch my walkthrough, see what I did, sort of turn it around to your sort of gameplay, and yeah, it's the best really sort of advice I can give you, to be honest. There's not really much, unless you want to specify particular things, there's not really much I can say to help. It's been quite a long time since I played that game. Best thing I say is just watch through my walkthrough and just see what I did and turn it into your own gameplay style. And finally, you asked, oh yeah, I've watched every episode you uploaded, and will you play Lord of the Rings Conquest for PS3? Huh. And you'll let me borrow it if you want to. Oh, that's very nice, thank you. I've never even seen gameplay for Lord of the Rings, so I have absolutely no idea. But to be honest, that sort of time period isn't really something I'm that interested. You know, dragons and orcs and elves and all that sort of stuff. It's not really the sort of time period I'm interested in. That's why I've looked into Dragon Age, but I've never really been committed to actually buy it. So the game looks good. It's just the time period's not really my thing. Oh, and you also asked. Oh, I think this was kind of like a skew on the question you asked earlier. Mass Effect versus DC versus Marvel. Well, I think when you say Mass Effect, you mean the entire Mass Effect universe. Because if you just mean the Normandy and Shepard's crew, then they're going to lose compared to DC and Marvel. But if you actually mean the whole universe, then I've got to give it to Mass Effect, probably. Because you've got you've got all the superheroes in the Marvel universe, all the superheroes in the DC universe, and then everyone in the Mass Effect universe. That's talking about like all the Turians, all the Krogan. If you mean everyone, then Mass Effect. If you just mean the people aboard the Normandy and Shepard's crew, then it's anyone's game between Marvel and DC, to be honest. I don't know too much about DC to actually make a thing, and in the end, it's always just going to be speculation. So, if you talk about the whole universe, I'm giving it the Mass Effect, because there's a billion, trillion people to contend with. JDude281 said, what about Batman, Robin, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Damian Wayne, Catwoman, Batgirl, and Batwoman versus Marvel versus Mass Effect? Well, same as I said before, if you're talking about Normandy and his crew, then probably that will go to Marvel, because you've only got a selection of DC, all of Marvel, and then just Shepard's crew. But then, as I say, if it's the entire Mass Effect universe, then it's going to Mass Effect. Jackson Skeens said, thanks for answering my question. Can you check out Blitzwinger's channel? And maybe y'all could do a walkthrough together. And what is my favourite Pokemon? I'm barely finding time to get my own stuff done, so I'm not really the sort of person that does sort of dual stuff with other people, as it's pretty quite evident throughout my channel. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm kind of doing stuff on my own for now. I kind of like the way it's going. I like working on my own. So, but you know, don't ask, you don't know, do you? And what is my favourite Pokemon? I do not know, to be honest with you. I'm kind of mainstream, to be honest. I like the original three, you know, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander. I like Pikachu. I've always had a soft spot for Geodude, Graveler, and Golem. I do like having them on my team. I actually, in the last time I played through, I had a Coffin on my team. I've wanted one of them ever since I first started playing Pokemon. But I don't know really. There's so many to choose from. I like the classics. You know, the good old Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Pikachu. I liked quite a lot of the Johto Pokemon as well, and quite a lot of the newer sort of ones as well. They've been quite cool. But that new one, the new starter, Chespin, something like that. My girlfriend chose the fire starter, I chose the water starter, and obviously two of us, nobody chose the grass starter. Get to their fully evolved forms, my god, that grass thing turns into the Juggernaut. It's awesome. The thing looks like Juggernaut. I was so gutted I didn't choose it. But yeah, that one's kind of a badass. But yeah, you got like the classics, you know, Muck. Muck and Grime are cool. But yeah, any of the classics are my favourites. Not that I don't like the newer ones, just I grew up on the older ones. I love them. Sorry, just scrolling through trying to find a question here. JDude281 said my 90s Spider-Man theme tune wasn't as bad as my X-Men's one. Man, nobody liked my X-Men theme, did they? Yeah, the Because I'm Batman. Definite rip-off from how it should have ended. Those guys are absolutely hilarious. I'm not claiming that to be mine at all. That is definitely their thing. I just thought it was too funny not to say. JDude281 said, what do you think of the theory that in... well, actually, obviously, I don't want to give anything away about ME3, but they said, what do you think of my theory on the ME3 Shepard is being indoctrinated? To be honest, I think that's something fans put together to try and make the ending not suck. I personally felt the DLC cut wasn't too bad, whether that was just because I'd seen the original cut and then you give it the DLC cut, it's like chopping off someone's foot and then the next guy coming along, them saying, I'm just going to nail you in one of your toes, you know? It's just like, well, that's not too bad, but in the grand scheme of things, it still sucks. But it's just not as bad as the last guy. And I think that was kind of what the DLC did for the Mass Effect 3 ending. It was really bad. And then the DLC, I think, made it a lot better, but still in the grand scheme of things, it's nowhere good as the ending of, say, ME2, which you guys have got coming up, and I finished editing a while back, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. But I personally, they bring up a lot of points, and if you look at it from, obviously I don't want to go into it because I don't want to give away the ending, but if you look at it from one angle, the angle they're presenting it, then yeah, it's concrete proof. The guy's been indoctrinated, it's this, it's that, it's blah, 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 blah. But then they don't bring up the counter argument to what they're trying to say, and the second you do that, it blows everything they say out the water. I think it's just fans trying to come up with a new ending for themselves to kind of make themselves feel a bit better. Everyone just talks, I mean, this won't give anything away, but everyone just constantly brings up Marauder Shields, and it's just like, it was just, you saw the ending was rushed, and then everyone's saying, yes, but this character is important, and it's like, no, it wasn't. It was just a rushed character they chucked in at the end. It was just, I just think a lot of people, it's one of those sort of, they're trying to make something out of it to make themselves feel better. I think what you saw at the end is what it was, and they've even said, like, they wanted the ending, you can kind of interpret it to be what you want it to be. So you see it as it is and you can take it at face value and that's the end of it, fair enough. But if you want to add something to it in your own head, like, oh, I feel that the universe actually became a great place after so and so and so and so happened, good. But then at the same time, if you think that leads to death and destruction, then fine, it's your own prerogative, it's your own thoughts, and that's really what's been evident throughout the entire game, is the fact that it's your choices, your thoughts and feelings on the universe. So I can see where they're going with that, but at the end of the day, it did leave things kind of a little bit untold. And I think the indoctrination theory is just people taking that choose your own ending a bit too far, and they're kind of making up stuff that wasn't there. I can see where they're going with it. I mean, I really can. I mean, if you actually just listen to what they're saying and ignore everything else that happened in the game, then yeah, I can definitely see where they're going with it. But I think when it comes down to it, that's just a story they're telling. To be honest, I don't think that actually holds any weight behind it. But Kenny Fee said, hey Dave, what system are you playing X and Y on? 3DS. I purchased a 3DS personally just to play that game. Solely to play that game. I know you can get the 2DS now, which apparently I've been told the reason why they made that, which apparently was actually an April Fool's joke a year or so ago. But it was brought out mainly because two of the biggest issues with obviously 3D, kids under 6, I think it's under 6, if they play with a 3D, it can actually screw up the development of their eyes, and also with the flipping open of the screen, it breaks. So the 2DS was literally made so people can play 3DS games on a more solid, bulky 2D version of the console. So, but yeah, playing mine on 3DS, I thought I'd try out the old 3D. Personally, it just gives me a headache. I play it on 2D all the time, but J2281 said, my god, I've commented a lot here. Yeah, yes, you have. But I don't mind. I'll read them all out. Kenny V said, hey Dave, what would you feel if they made another season of Heroes? Good question, actually. I loved Heroes. Absolutely loved it. And then was it season 4? It depends how you look on it, because one season was broke into 2 parts. And depending on who you talk to, some people say that's season 2 and season 3. Other people just say that whole lot is season 2. But the season where they're in the fairground, season 4, season 5, whatever it was, I thought was boring. very boring, and I'm not surprised the show got cancelled. The whole thing I thought with Heroes was you had them all get their powers and they all find out what's going on, and then by chance they all bumped into each other in random different ways, and then it all comes together, and then the next season the same thing happens. And I liked how they stopped where season 2 was going. About halfway they realised nobody was liking it, and they kind of made almost like 2 seasons within one, and I liked that. I thought that was good. I think the season of the whole program of Heroes would have got cancelled a lot sooner had they not done that. The issue was, I think they should have kept doing that, almost having like 2 seasons in one, and kept the story flowing. But I think their biggest issue was they made the characters keep developing and developing and developing, and then every time a season ended, the new season started with everyone separated off doing their own things, and then you'd spend an entire season trying to get everyone back together again, and it just made no sense. It was just like, I don't know why they always separated afterwards, and so many characters were just gone from the last season, and they kept bringing in new ones. And I think their main failure is they should have actually made at least just like 5 of them. The rest of them can all be off doing their thing, so there's loads of multiple stories going at once, just like before. But I think the main thing is they should have had at least 5 of them that were being heroes. 5 of them should have fought, like say like Hiro Nakamura, maybe Peter Petrelli, I don't know, Matt Parkman probably would have been a good one. And you got to have someone like Rogue, like if not rogue superhero, but like a rogue person, like Silas or something like that. Seeing how the events of what happened near the end of season 4/5, whatever one it was, I think having them actually form a superhero team with secret identities, not like capes and all that crap, but actually forming a group where they actively seek out trouble to try and save people. I think they should have had something like that, where a bunch of them, almost like Hiro Nakamura nearly did with Ando, where they were actually going out and being superheroes for a very short time. I think they should have done that. If they'd done that, things would have progressed. And I mean, at the very, very last episode when it got cancelled, it looked like things were going to go that way with what... Obviously, I'm not going to say what happened for those who want to watch the season, but for what Claire Bennett did at the very end of the very last season, you're thinking, I saw that and I thought, great, this last season has been boring as all sin, but things are going to move forwards now. Things are actually going to progress, and we may actually get some heroes. But and then they cancelled it, and then it took too long, and I think they should have just got on with it and actually made some of them be heroes. So if they were to bring one back with all the actors in it, then yeah, I'd be very up for that. I'd love to see that. But the issue is now they've all moved on to other things, especially Hayden Panettiere or Pateri, or how the hell do you say her name? I mean, she's definitely gone on to bigger things. So I don't know. If they could bring it back with all the characters and all the actors, I'd love it. But the odds are, if they brought it back now, all the actors wouldn't come back to it. So yeah, so basically a longer answer than I really need to give. But yeah, in sum, if they could bring back heroes like it was, then yeah, I'd love to. Seth Hampton, will you play Thor movie game? I've looked at it. I'm not too sure. It looks better than the Iron Man ones, I'll give you that. But I'll look into it. I can't really say yes or no, to be honest with you. It's definitely probably one of those comic book games that could be put on the list, but I'd have to see how good it is. I mean, if it's abysmal, I'm not going to play it just because it's a comic book game. Seth Hampton, if you could have a mutant X gene, what would you choose? It's kind of similar to a question I answered, I think it was last week or the week before. It's saying like what sort of mutant power I would have. So as I said like last time, if I'm being boring, health regeneration, live forever, blah 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 blah. But if I'm trying to be a bit more fun, a bit more out there, then it'd probably be something like ice power, or maybe I don't know, I think I chose something like teleportation, or like indestructible skin. Or I was watching The Incredibles last night. Super speed looks kind of fun. Seth Hampton said, "Have you watched Thor?" Yep. It was an amazing film. It's actually a lot better than I thought Thor was going to be. I thought that was going to be the sort of the naff, the sort of the naff film out of all of them, you know. But Thor was actually very good, and I can't wait for Dark World to come out. Seth Hampton also asked, do you have Netflix? No, but I use a friend's Netflix all the time. Seth Hampton said, is tea as big in England as it is made out to be in the movies and shows? Yes, it is. I mean, we don't sit there with our fine crockery going, oh, would one like a cup of tea? Oh, yes, quite. But, no, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a cup of tea at least once a day. It's just a set thing. You get in and you just say, oh, I'll flick the kettle on. You have a tea, have a coffee, You know, it's just what you do. It's just sort of drilled in for you as a kid. It's not like we're sitting there drinking fire in China. We've just got mugs of the stuff, just like people do in America. You know, it's just, or any other country. But yeah, at least with me, I can honestly say I don't go at least a day without having a cup of tea or coffee. So, but yeah, it's almost guaranteed in every household that someone comes around, you flick the kettle on. It's just, it's just what happens. At least with older people, either that or you have a beer. Zachary Ziegler said, "What new games are you thinking about doing a playthrough on?" Well, I've got a few. Obviously, when I get everything fixed with my Xbox, I've got Mass Effect 3 coming up, which I still haven't started recording because obviously I haven't got the equipment set up yet. But I'm really jonesing to start recording that. Arkham Origins coming out in a few days. Obviously, I'll get recording that as soon as I can. I've got Beyond Two Souls. As soon as I finish playing that, if it's a good game, which I've heard it is, I'm definitely going to record. I'm pretty certain I'm probably going to record Dark Souls. I have said to people I'm going to look through Web of Shadows again, Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Can't promise I'm going to play it. Marvel Lego, definitely going to be playing that. Can't wait to play that, if I'm being honest with you. I think that game's just going to be so funny. There was another one I was thinking of playing. One day, one day in the future, I keep promising people I'm going to carry on my Fallout walkthrough. It will. One day it will happen, honestly. If I find out that I've got some terminal disease one day, it will be my prime mission to finish that walkthrough before I die. It's a bit of a dark topic, but anyway, moving on. Donald Dimmick said, "If you could make a video game, what genre would you play and what would be the hero or villain's name?" I don't know. I came up with a game that I had to make for my game design course in college, which I thought was... I still like it now. It's basically my idea was that it's sort of like a free roam game like GTA. And your character, right at the very start, he just gets powers out of nowhere, kind of like the TV show Heroes. And you've got like a couple of friends that sort of trying to help you through the process, and you realise there's loads of other people out there who have the same issue where you are. They've just woken up one day and they've got these powers, and obviously some are using it for good, some of them are using it for bad. So that's the whole thing. And basically, as you're going through this game, you can choose which side you're going on. Are you gonna? You'll have like random events, like in stuff like GTA, and you can either help out and help the police and save people, or bank robbery, stop the bank robbery, or you can go down there and join in the bank robbery, or mug people, or beat people up, and stuff like that. And as you do that, that'll fill up either your hero or your villain gauge. And then as it goes through, more missions will become available according to how good you are or how bad you are. So if you keep being bad, some bad guys will come up to you and be like, "Hey, we're planning a bank job, do you want to join in?" If you keep going good, a bunch of heroes will come up to you and say, "Hey, we've heard these people are about to rob this bank, do you want to come join us?" So that's basically the premises of the game, and I kind of forget how it ended, but there was some guy, oh yeah, that was it, there was a guy who in the end, whatever side you choose, whether you choose the criminal side or the hero side, there's a guy like a billionaire who funds you so you can form like a superhero or supervillain team, and in the end, at the very end, he betrays you. And you either kill him or you don't, being like the big final decision at the end of the game. And then so in the end you can either be heroes ruling the city, being nice and helping everyone, or you can be super villains and just owning the city and destroying it, So I kind of forget, it was about a year ago, so I made it. But yeah, like that was something I pulled out of my ass. Revenant13 said, "Hi Dave, long time watcher, first time asker / commentator. My question is, what do you think of what Dan Slott is doing with Spider-Man character at this point, or rather, do you like it?" I'm not exactly entirely sure. I think Dan Slott was sort of leading the charge at Spider-Man back when I finished reading Amazing. I'm not exactly sure. I remember seeing his name crop up, so don't hold me to that. I'm not entirely sure. But as I say, the last time I read Spider-Man was just at the end of Amazing, the start of Superior, but I believe that was when Dan Slott was still doing Spider-Man. I'm not sure, you might have to correct me on that. But, yeah, I didn't mind. I thought it was alright. I still, as I've said loads of times, I didn't like how Amazing Spider-Man ended. But I don't think I was ever going to like Amazing Spider-Man ending. But I just thought they did it in such a... Everyone expected there to be some sort of payoff. Everyone expected, like, Peter Parker's done all of this. We've been reading these comics for God, just decades, and they expected him to finally get some recognition, and he didn't. He died without anyone knowing, and it was just, I don't know. That's I'm not sure if Dan Slott had anything to do with that, but that was just the last point I read Spider-Man. So if he was, then yeah, that's my thoughts on it. If Dan Slott didn't get involved until after that point, like with Superior and stuff like that, then I can't really comment because I haven't read it. So yeah, there's that. Mission Unstoppable 1 said, "Hey Dave, you said any squad mate in ME2 was your favourite except Samara. What do you mean, Samara? The just a car." And so Jacob is your favourite too. Does Dave indeed have a soft spot for Jacob deep down in his heart? Blasphemous! Mission Unstoppable 1, you blasphemer! How dare you write such filth on my channel? Trying to spread rumours that Dave likes Jacob. How dare you? No, when I said except for Samara, I didn't actually mean I dislike Samara. In fact, as I'm doing this Mass Effect 2 walkthrough, I've actually grown to like Samara. I never disliked her, I just found nothing interesting about her. I mean, you have Liara from the last game, and their Asari replacement in this was Samara, and I just kind of felt like, wow, you just... it's kind of like they give you the hot cheerleader, and then they give you her older mum, and that was kind of what I felt I got with Samara. But no, I like Samara, and especially in this last walkthrough. My love for her character has grown, but Jacob, no, how dare you? When I said that, I literally forgot he even existed. Nah, I think that digs me out of my hole. No, I don't hate anyone really in Mass Effect 2. As much as I mock Jacob, it's just because it's funny. But no, anyone in the Mass Effect 2 squad, barring Jacob, I'd say is one of my favourites. I do like them indeed. Try and spread that filth around here. VladX94 said, "Hey Dave, I'm back with some questions." Alright, let me take a sip of my drink and I'll be ready. Will you play Angry Video Games Nerd Adventures? Never even heard of that, so I'm probably going to say no. TMNT Out of Shadows, probably not as well. What are your thoughts on Amazing Spider-Man 2 game? Looking forward to it. Can't wait. As I said earlier, I'm probably going to wait until I've seen the film before I play the game, so there'll obviously be a bit of a delay on the walkthrough. But that's just so I don't spoil the film for myself, because these Marvel films are some of the few things I look forward to every year. So, are you a fan of Sonic, Mortal Kombat, or any other game series? I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a fan of the game series, but when I was younger, I used to love Sonic. My mum used to be, she is, quite a bit of an artist, and as I would get older, every time she repainted my room, she would paint whoever was my favourite of whatever on my wall, and it's gone from Simpsons back, when they first started getting their push, and it's had Sonic on there and many other things. But I definitely remember having Sonic being up there for quite a long time. Loved Sonic. Used to watch the TV series, like the old like original TV series, not like this, Crystal Chaos and X and blah and all these other Sonic ones that come out now, but like the original, like Sonic and Tails. I used to love that, and I used to play like a lot of the original Sonic games. Not to be one of those elitists, like I played the originals, but I was young when those games come out, so I played them. Played a bit of Mortal Kombat, never really got into it. I don't like those sort of fighting games. They bore me very quickly. Used to play Tekken a lot with my brother, but as I said, it gets boring very quickly. It's a lot of just doing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't really matter which character you choose. They have different moves, but when it comes down to it, you go left or right, you jump up and down, you punch and kick, and that's kind of all you're really getting out of it. So, but no, Sonic, definitely love Sonic. Alexander, I forgot I asked you about doing the walkthrough of Arkham Origins in the last Captain's Quarters episode, so just ignore that question in this comment. But it would help to read it anyway. I don't remember if I have read that one unless it got deleted. Here's another question to rectify that. What is your favourite football club? Mine is Manchester United. I do not like football in the slightest. It bores me to no end. I don't understand it. I mean, like, loads of, obviously, you know, in England, people love football. It's just like, if you're a bloke and you don't like football, you're instantly outcasted. So, no, I don't like football. I used to, back when I used to try and get into football, I used to also say that Manchester United was my team. I used to try to get myself to like it. I always figured I'd just grow to like it as I got older, but I never did. So, but I used to say Manchester United. My brother's team is Manchester United. The rest of my family and pretty much most of my friends all support Arsenal. But funnily enough, my best friend, he loves football. He's passionate about football. So our sort of middle ground is I always wanted to play computer games and he always wanted to play football. So our middle ground was we would play FIFA. Okay, it's on the computer and it's football. So his one thing was, you know, play football on the computer and I'll let you pick the team. So I'd try and pick the worst team possible. So after a while, my go-to team was Wigan. And then as I got older, I began to actually genuinely root for Wigan if I'd see a football match. And I remember once Wigan beat Arsenal and it was the best day of my life. Straight away, I called him up. I was like, yes, in your face. But yeah, there's that. But Alexander said, good day to Cap. I was just oh, that's the question you were mentioning earlier. Sorry, for some reason this one's come up before the question you wrote earlier. But yeah, I bet you were basically mentioning that you're looking forward to Arkham Origins, more of death from above and thousand fists of fury, and the good old jiggle physics. So yeah, cool. Looking forward to it myself. AJ Singh said, hi, how are you? Oh, not too bad, how are you? What is your favourite storylines in a video game, and the game that you got scared was in... Oh yeah, Batman Arkham Asylum. That crazy inmate jumped on my head. Man alive, that scared the bejeebers out of me. I laughed so hard when I was editing that footage because I knew it was coming up, and I was just waiting for, like, obviously my sound clip. You could see where it got really massive, and that scared the hell out of me, that did. But your question was, what is my favourite storyline in a video game? Well, obviously, I know it's boring. You've probably heard me say this 1,000 times by now, but it's got to be Mass Effect. Love that. Absolutely loved it. But in other games, actually, if I'm going to pick like something other than that, Heavy Rain. Loved that. That's why I did a walkthrough of that game, because it was like the first walkthrough I think I ever did. I loved the story in that game. I thought it was fantastic. It's why I'm looking forward to so much playing Two Souls, because it's the same people that made Heavy Rain, and it's not really a game, it's an interactive film, which I think I said back in Heavy Rain as well, actually. Sounds familiar. But yeah, I loved the story in that. Yeah, I think that's out of the stuff I've played anyway. I think some of the Batman stories, I think they're quite good as well. I mean, I like all the Spider-Man games and stuff like that, but story-wise, it's fun, but I wouldn't exactly say it's up there with like the best story games ever. GTA, actually, what am I talking about? GTA 5, that story was really good. I was really impressed with how good the story was in that. I was sitting there at some points playing it, not actually enjoying myself, because you know when you play for too long, you're tired, and you're more playing to get to the next point, and you're not actually enjoying it as you go. Well, I remember feeling like that with GTA 5, because I just had to find out what happened next, mainly before somebody spoiled it for me on the internet. But yeah, Heavy Rain, definitely, I like that. Mass Effect's obviously my favourite. GTA 5 was good too. When are you going to complete Fallout New Vegas? Why haven't people let me forget that? Oh, it's like my dirty little secret. Yeah, hopefully one day in the future, as I say. Who knows? Maybe I'll become unemployed one day, and I'll just be... It will be the only thing that can consume my time. But one day I will, I promise you, I will finish that game, I swear to you. I've still got so much footage on my computer, which takes up just hundreds of gig on my hard drive. I had to convert it all into a portable hard drive. It was taking up too much space on my computer. And I've done that because I refuse to delete the raw footage. Because if I do that, then that's it. I'm never going to be able to go back to Fallout New Vegas. Because I still need to make the intros and stuff like that. So I've kept it all the raw footage. I still have it. And it's taking up so much space. Just as an incentive for me to keep going and keep playing that game. So trust me, it is coming back. I've still got all the raw footage and everything. But it's just, I don't know. One day I'll bring it back. It's the main issue with that game is not playing the game. It's the intro that I made. I don't have time to make that intro, and also I need to find some more suitable music to put over the top instead of the Pirates of the Caribbean theme, which obviously is copyrighted against, so I can't use that. So as soon as I get that new intro down and find enough time to actually, I don't know, if I was to bring back Fallout New Vegas, I think what I would do is I'd play the entire game, complete it, and then edit the videos. So since how like I already have broke up the series for over a year and a half, nearly 2 years now, I might as well complete the game, get it all edited and finished, and then start uploading them. I figure that's the best thing. If I ever did start, when I do eventually start playing it again, that's what I'll probably do. Complete the game, get it all edited, so then that way you guys never have to have the walkthrough stop halfway through again. So yeah, but one day in the future. And last question was, what is your hardest boss that you have ever fought in a video game? Top of my head, I do not know. As I said, these questions, I always suck at these questions. I think some of the hardest bosses I've ever fought are probably in older games, but I don't think that's necessarily because they're harder bosses. It's probably just because I was younger, and my gaming skills weren't as great, and also my mental capacity to actually look around, see what's going on in the game wasn't as good as well. So I mean, nothing is necessarily popping up in my brain right now. Probably when I was younger, some of the Ultimate Spider-Man game, I remember finding a lot of that hard. Hell, I found some of that hard now, but I can't think. I mean, all I've got behind me right now is my PS3 and my Xbox games. So all my old games that I used to really struggle on would have been stuff like PS2, PS1 games. So nothing's necessarily popping in my head right now, but it would have been a lot older game. One of the games when I was younger. King of the Dragons 100 said, Dave, when I asked my last question, you seem to be a bigger Marvel fan than you are DC. I meant in general, comics, movies, and games. I can't honestly remember what the last question was you asked me in the video before. I don't know, let me have a little look-see. I might be able to find it. This is where I need to put some of that elevator music. Do 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 do. Ba 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 ba. Here we go. Right, we're on the other video. Ba, 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 ba. If I can just find your question, come on, pop out. Where are you? And I can't find it. I don't think it's there. Sorry, I can't find your other question on the other video. Sorry, mate. But fair enough. Sorry if I would have answered it better if I could have. Babylon218 said headcanon. Oh yeah, I didn't know what that meant. Headcanon, what you believe a character story show should be regardless of what they currently are. Oh right, yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of people that do that. P.S. What do you think of Daredevil, the character, not the film? Personally, he's my third favourite Marvel character after Spider-Man and Iron Man. Yeah, kind of like what I said earlier, really. I think Daredevil never really got the push that maybe he should have, and maybe if they kind of reworked his character a little bit, and maybe his origins were a little bit better. And I don't mean that in like how he became Daredevil. I meant like how the comic series originally did when they first created it, like with how popular it gained. I mean, obviously, I think whatever they do to Daredevil, he's kind of stuck where he is now. Even if they were to suddenly go, hey Daredevil, you're in the main Avengers team, you're in the X-Men, and you're in the Fantastic Four, people still won't necessarily get on board with him, because they're like, he's stuck at where he is, to be honest. And it's a shame. I don't really like Daredevil, but that's because I haven't really had much interaction with Daredevil, like throughout games or comics. So every time I do see him, I'm just like, go home. And I think that's what a lot of people think, unfortunately. But I know the people out there who do like Daredevil are normally quite hardcore Daredevil fans. But it just doesn't help the fact that the film with Ben Affleck actually sucked, and that really didn't help. Also, which Spidey team do you prefer? Spidey and Daredevil and Spidey and Wolverine? Well, I've got to go Spidey and Wolverine, obviously. I think Daredevil is quite a good team. Almost in somewhat like a mentorship way, I find Daredevil tends to take with Spider-Man, especially in the Ultimate Universe. But I tend to, anytime I've seen them pair up, they have a mutual respect for each other, but Daredevil sometimes takes more of a big brother kind of role with Spider-Man sometimes. At least that's what I feel. But I've got to go with Spidey and Wolverine, just because Wolverine's seriousness and Spider-Man's humour bouncing off each other, and obviously Spider-Man never kill anyone, and Wolverine just slices people's heads off just because why not? I think they're a good contrast of a team, but when it comes down to it, they're both trying to achieve the same goal, and I personally, I'd much rather read the story which is Spider-Man and Wolverine than Spider-Man and Daredevil. CyberNerd797 said, when are you going to get your ass to work on a Pokemon X walkthrough? Well, I won't. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love Pokemon X. I think it's a fun game, but I think if you're gonna do a walkthrough of something like Pokemon, unless you specify right at the very start that you don't know what the hell you're doing, you need to know the ins and outs of everything, because Pokemon is something that it's sort of like something like with StarCraft or any of these other sort of like big games, League of Legends. I'm forgetting one, like a massive one. I can see it in my head. I just can't remember the name. But if you're gonna do a walkthrough of it, I think you need to definitely know what you're talking about, because obviously if you go along and you're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, your comment section will just be filled with a bunch of people saying, what the hell are you talking about? Where are you going? What are you doing? You're using the wrong type. Blah 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 blah. And yeah, so unless you are 100% Mr. Pokemon, it's not really worth your time. And to be honest, I don't have the equipment to do it, and I play Pokemon for fun. If you're gonna watch someone do a Pokemon walkthrough, I'd strongly suggest Leroy. He's just type in Leroy. He's a bit absent at the moment because he's literally dying. His throat seems to be eating itself, so he can't talk. But yeah, search his channel. He's done a lot of Pokemon walkthroughs. The guy, I absolutely love him, and I hope he's gonna do an X and Y walkthrough, because I'll definitely watch that. Josh Lace said, why did you pick Tally in... Oh, sorry if somebody hasn't actually got to that point in Mass Effect 2 yet. I'm sorry if I just dropped a spoiler for you there. But Josh Lace asked, why did you pick Tally in Mass Effect 2? Because she had Miranda for one episode and Jack for a few. Yes, I did, didn't I? Yeah, that was me just teasing you along. I felt like I would talk to Miranda and Jack for as long as humanly possible before I told them no. I could have gone a bit further, but I didn't want to. I think I went a bit too far with Jack, as you can tell by the way she greets me now. But yeah, Miranda, I just don't have any interest in. A lot of people pick Miranda because obviously she's supposed to be, for obviously a pixelated creation. She's very attractive, but as far as I'm concerned, it was always a toss-up between Tally and Jack. I'm still yet to romance Jack. I've always wanted to. I've watched clips online of like how the story progresses with Jack, and then how that goes into Mass Effect 3 and stuff like that, supposing she survives and all that. But nah, you gotta go with Tally, especially with Mass Effect 3 on the horizon, like as the next walkthrough. I had to go with Tally. I mean, if I could the problem with I don't want to give too much away for those who haven't played Mass Effect 3. But I mean, it's no spoiler that both Garrus and Tally are in all three Mass Effects. That's no spoiler. I hope it isn't a spoiler. Them two are throughout all three Mass Effects. So like, they are like your dream team. The only issue is in Mass Effect 3 you can't romance Tally unless you've romanced her in Mass Effect 2. That's not saying I'm going to romance her in Mass Effect 3, by the way. It's still all bets are off when it comes to Mass Effect 3. But if you could romance her in Mass Effect 3, I'd probably romance Jack in Mass Effect 2 and then Tally in Mass Effect 3. But as you cannot, I decided to romance Tally in Mass Effect 2. That's not to say that I'm still going to do that in Mass Effect 3. I might pick somebody else in Mass Effect 3, you don't know. It's just because if I could do both, I would, but as I can't, I'm picking Tally. But no, Jack's definitely a second best. But no, that was just the way I felt. I like Tally. She's my Quarian nerd. And I love her. But yeah, Tally was definitely the way to go. Josh Lace, have you played the Uncharted trilogy? It's a PS3 essential. No, I haven't, but a lot of people told me I should. And it's third person, so that's already up my street. It's already something I like. Also, sorry, just going back to what you asked earlier about Mass Effect romance and Tally. If you don't romance Tally in any Mass Effect, you actually get a kind of a nice little thing. Just before the very, very end of Mass Effect 3, you notice something, which is quite interesting, surviving all characters have survived up to that point. So yeah, if you don't romance Tally in any of them, or Garrus if you're female Shepard, then yeah, something quite interesting happens with Tally. But yeah, moving on. Ethan Brown said, hey Dave, can I use you in a comic me and some mates are making? I'm going to make you the captain of police, and no, I'm not going to kill you off like Captain Stacy, so can I please? Yes, definitely. Go ahead. I'd love to see how that turns out. I'm so touched. But no, go ahead. Yeah, I'll be honoured. Why not? Yes, I actually kind of like that when I read that, Captain of Police. I like the sound of that. It's a nice little cameo role. I kind of like it. But yeah, if I get killed off like Captain Stacy, oh well. As long as I go down swinging, that's all I care. Josh Lay said, oh yeah, what about a Marvel versus DC game or film? I think I've answered that once before. Not if they did it, I'd probably play it / watch it. But I personally don't think that sort of thing's a good idea. I just don't like it, to be honest. I think they should stick to their own thing. Any form of combination, just hokey and a bit weird. I don't like it. Ethan Brown said, hey Dave, do you know anything about Dragon Ball Z? And if you do, who do you think would win? Vegeta or Goku? Or the entire Marvel... Oh, Vegeta and Goku, or the entire Marvel Universe. There's actually a picture. I've seen... I'm sorry, I don't watch Dragon Ball Z, never watched it. Other than over 9,000! I've never watched anything to do with Dragon Ball Z. So, no idea. But I have seen a picture online where I obviously I don't know the characters, so I'm going to assume it was those two. And they're standing in front of the entire Marvel Universe. So that kind of made me laugh. I'm going to go ahead and assume that them two are extremely powerful, and that's why that question's been brought up. But no, I'm going to have to go with the Marvel Universe, because I don't know who the hell them two are. I've heard his power level's over 9,000, but that means nothing to me. So, going to go with the Marvel Universe. I'm sure I'm wrong. Yusuf Yasir said, Dave, you said that you'll play Lego Marvel Superheroes co-op. Will you play it with someone from Geek Space? Also, do you like Beyblade? I like the original PS1. Do you watch Legends of Korra? I do not watch Legends of Korra, and I am not even sure what Beyblade is, to be honest. Well, I didn't necessarily say I would play it co-op. I'm most likely going to play it single player. It's just the main reason I said I was going to play it co-op, I didn't necessarily mean recording it co-op. It was just because I know my my girlfriend definitely wants to play that game, so I might be playing it with her co-op. But with regards to walkthrough, probably just me. I mean, if Geekspace wants to do a walkthrough of Marvel superheroes, then yeah, I'll definitely join in with them on that. But as regards to doing a walkthrough, probably just going to do it solo. Carson Dickey said, Dave... Dave could undo a react video where you watch... Oh, Dave... I'm guessing that's Dave, can you do a react video where you watch a funny, creepy, sad, scary... Oh yeah, there we go. He's just corrected himself. Do you plan on doing anything with other YouTubers as well? Well, to the react video, no, I don't like react videos. I think they're just view... I don't want to badmouth other people. I really don't. I'm not that sort of person. But I think they're just view whoring sort of stuff. You get millions and millions of views because somebody's watching you fake a reaction to somebody else's hard work. It's just kind of seems a little bit cheap to me. I just don't like them. I just don't get them. I mean, half the time, if someone puts a camera in your face and then says, watch this, you know something's going to happen. So your reaction is clearly fake, to be honest with you. Or at least exaggerated. And if it's a hidden camera, then fair enough. But then how am I supposed to set up a hidden camera on myself? So I just tend to think those things are fake / exaggerated, and I just don't get why people like them. And do I plan on doing anything with other YouTubers? I wouldn't say no. I've never really had anybody come up to me and ask me, and I've never really been interested in doing anything with anybody else, to be honest with you. I did a long time ago, in a galaxy far away, record some Battlefield 3 with, what was his name? Double O Face. He's a guy that does Call of Duty videos. I'm not sure if he makes videos anymore, but it was back when I had like 100 and something subscribers. And we sat there and we recorded 3 hours worth of footage after we had planned what time we were both awake, obviously being in England, and he was in, I think, Washington himself. So it's just like we had to plan time we were both awake, and then 2 hours of my audio got deleted promptly afterwards. So that never happened. But no, nobody's ever really asked me, to be honest. And to be honest, I'm not really inclined to do anything with anybody else either. It's just the way I am. I kind of like doing stuff on my own, to be honest. But as I say, I'm always happy to do stuff with Geek Space. And if down the line some other guy who plays like comic book games or something like that said, hey, do you want to duel up and do something, fair enough. But I feel you kind of, if you need to do like a dual commentary or something like that, you need to have chemistry with the person you're playing with. If it's just two big channels and they just do a dual walkthrough of something, basically because they want the viewers from each other's channels to also now subscribe to them, it's just, I think, be honest, pants. You hear these two people who clearly it's the first time they've ever played together doing this walkthrough, and it's just awkward, and I hate listening to it. I'd much rather listen to people do dual commentaries where one guy's unheard of, where it's just their friend from real life, because then it's funny, then they mock each other, then they kill each other, and it's actually funny to listen to. So I don't know, never really been approached, never really been interested in approaching someone, but I wouldn't say no to the idea. You also had another question, because apparently your iPod kept posting the questions. Do you have a girlfriend? Yes, I do. I live with her. Do you think they'll make a Flash or Martian Manhunter movie? And last, that was another question. Do you think they'll make a Flash or Martian Manhunter movie? I'd love to see a Flash movie. So I said that, it just came out completely wrong. I'd like to see if they made a movie about Flash. That'd be cool. Other than playing the Justice League game, I know nothing about Martian Manhunter, but Flash, yeah, I'd definitely be interested in that. He's definitely one of my favourite of the Justice League. And they are making a Deadpool movie. What are your feelings of this? Don't make fun of my last name. I don't think I did make fun of your last name. I think you asked me if I found your last name funny, and I said no. But that was about it, really. Deadpool movie, they have had that in the works, or at least rumoured to be in the works, for so long now. Like, insane amount of time. Like, it's just always been on IMDb with Ryan Reynolds rumoured to be Deadpool, and that's been about it. But I've been hearing a lot of people say they're actually making the movie now, so all I can say is about damn time. And yeah, I look forward to it. Despite how bad Deadpool was in Wolverine Origins, I would like it if they kept Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, because at the start of the film, when he was playing Wade Wilson, I think he did a good job, and I think he has the correct kind of humour for Deadpool. That sort of, just, I don't know, the weird kind of zany humour. I think he would fit Deadpool very well, to be honest, despite what X-Men Origins did with him. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Mr. Candyman13 said, Mass Effect question, episode 37. I'm trying to think which one that was. I think that was something to do with the Quarians. About your whole master comment, even though Zen is a bloody idiot and has marbles for brains, you're right about the creation of children with... Oh, yes, I know which episode this was. You're right about the creation on children with own mind and free will, though. However, every creator or parent has barriers or limits in place for their protection. This is the double-edged sword. It keeps the subject obedient, but too much barrier can cause retaliation. But isn't Zen aware, or should be, that any bionic, given proper incentive, can retaliate? That is actually a very good and very well-articulated point, other than the way I read it out, which was abysmal. But no, that's actually a very good point. It's sort of just carrying on from what I was saying as well. It's just the fact that, just for those of you who haven't seen it, in that episode we were talking about sort of like Zen, one of the characters from Mass Effect, was saying about how she wanted to retake control of the Geth and blah 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 blah. And I was basically saying just the fact that just because you create something, it doesn't mean you necessarily have your own rights over it. I mean, you create children, but that doesn't mean you're their master. You know, they still have their own free will to like a certain age and whatever. And the same thing goes for bionics, as Mr. Candyman just said. I mean, you give a bionic enough incentive and enough artificial intelligence for it to realise it is a being, and it will create its own thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I totally agree. There was a bit of a conversation going on here. I'll just scroll up to the very top comment of them. Masterkill492 said, how's it going, Dave? Not too shabby, how are you? Got a question for you, more of a thought really, but do you think they will make another X-Men movie or Fantastic Four movie, or include the X-Men and Fantastic Four in the next Avengers? Because correct me if I'm wrong, the X-Men and Fantastic Four were both part of the Avengers. I think they were, like, at some point. It's really hard to find somebody who wasn't a part of the Avengers now. But as Gareth Vicarian answered your question, yes, they are. They've got X-Men Days of Future Past coming out next year, which I really am excited for. Cannot wait for that film. They put a little a teaser for it at the end of the Wolverine, which I thought was really good. And yeah, they're making a Fantastic Four reboot as well. I heard for a while that was it the that Dave Franco was supposed to be playing Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four reboot, and I thought he was going to be perfect for it. But now I've heard it's someone completely different. So who knows? It's a shame, really, because the original cast in Fantastic Four I thought were really good. I think they really fit it well. I mean, obviously Chris Evans is now Captain America, so he can't be the Human Torch anymore. If not, that'd be a bit goofy. Which is a shame, because I thought he played a good Human Torch. I felt they were all very good characters. But as I say, if they're going to try and integrate Fantastic Four with Avengers and stuff like that, they're going to need to reboot it, because unfortunately the people who played the original Fantastic Four, they've got a lot older now. I mean, Jessica Alba, that's the only one I can remember. I know the other two, I just don't know their names. But Jessica Alba, how can I can never forget you. Sorry, had to take a moment there. But yeah, it's just, I mean, they've all got a lot older, so as the years go on, they would look quite weird in contrast to the rest of the characters. So I think they need to cast a sort of a younger Fantastic Four so they can begin the Fantastic Four franchise again. But it's a shame, because I do have a soft spot for the original Fantastic Four. Silver Surfer sucked, but the original Fantastic Four spot, I can't help but like that film. Blast Eye Studio, what would you do if they were going to make a Mass Effect TV series? Would be set around Shep or a new group of characters? I would be ecstatic if they made a Mass Effect TV series. Apparently, from what I've heard, and I've watched a few interviews and stuff like that online, there was a director who was involved in making a Mass Effect movie for a long time. He's not involved in the project anymore, and somebody new has picked it up. So apparently they are actually in the works, or at least in the talks of creating the story for a Mass Effect movie. Something that scared me a little bit was that they said making it all into one film. And I was thinking, how can you set 3 40-hour games into one film? It's just that I think they'd struggle just to make. I think just making like a trilogy would be hard enough to get it right, let alone stretching all 3 Mass Effect games into one film. I hope I heard that wrong, because I think if Mass Effect has become a film, it needs to be a trilogy at least. Or at least make Mass Effect 1 and just leave it at Mass Effect 1 or something like that. But you can't put all 3 in one film. That'd be terrible. But no, if they were to make a Mass Effect TV series, something like Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead, where it's it's an episodic thing, where it's not like the standard TV show where it's got 20 to 24 episodes in a season, but where it has just like 10 or 12 episodes in a season, but they're high budget episodes. So each episode has like movie quality, but then there's only like 10 episodes in a season. I would love it if they did something like that for Mass Effect. That would be amazing. I think it would be really good. I have that same train of thought with X-Men. I think they should stop making X-Men films and make a high budget TV series, because there are like, in every X-Men comic, there's like 10 main characters, and how are you supposed to get to know the story and the backstory and get to know their characters and develop their story well if it's based over an hour and a half worth of footage? It can't be done, and it's never going to satisfy everyone. So I think they need to do the same with Mass Effect as I feel they should be doing with X-Men, and make like a high budget episodic TV series where it's just set about 10-12 episodes. And I'd love it if they could keep the old characters like Shepard and Tally and Garrus and Liara, Grunt, Morden, all the good ones. I'd love it if they could do that, but yes. That's just a wish list. I doubt something like that would ever actually happen. But Jedi Coon said, of course Batman could take on the whole Marvel universe. And do you know why, Dave? Well, I'm going to go ahead and assume it's because he's Batman. I just have to go and guess that. And my throat is dying, especially after doing that. Wow, we've been going on for about an hour and 10 minutes now. Though, as I say, 97 comments. I think we're finally starting to get to the end of them now. I think someone mentioned it to me before, that this Captain's Quarter thing actually sounds almost like a mini podcast. It's like a one-man podcast, and to be honest, that's kind of what it has actually evolved into. It wasn't what I initially wanted it to be, but it's kind of turned into that. So yeah, I'm okay with the episodes getting longer, really. Blast Eye Studio said, one last question, what Pokemon do you have in Pokemon X? I started off with the water. I don't know how to say any Pokemon's names. I'm terrible at it. I started off with the water starter. When you get to pick one of your original Kanto starters, and seeing as how I had Blastoise and Charizard on older games, I picked Bulbasaur, and I'm very glad I did, because Turns out that the new fairy type is weak to poison, so I was very glad I told Bulbasaur. But yeah, got a Pikachu / Raichu now. I also have there's the jaw fossil, turns into like some sort of T-Rex. I've got that. I also got whatever Pancham evolves into. I've got that one too. And I did do the Torchic event you get when you first get the game. I kept him out for a long time, but then eventually I put him back in because I wanted Fletchinger or Fletchling or what it was back in my party. I was missing out on too many air battles. But there's so many Pokemon in this game. It's like they've literally gone through all the games, and then they're just trying to bring them all back into this one, because obviously now it's gone 3D. So there are just so many Pokemon I want to use, and it's so hard to pick which one to actually choose. But which leads me on nicely into the next question. Jalen Adams said, how far are you in Pokemon X and Y? I need one more gym badge. I think I haven't had actually that much time to play it recently, because I've just been busy doing stuff. But I think I need 2 more gym badges, I believe. Yeah, I just got the fairy gym badge. Like the gym badge where it's the fairy type. I think I've still got my ice, and I don't know what the last one is. Is it steel or is it dragon? I think it's steel. I'm not sure. Yeah, but I still need my ice gym badge. And one more as well, and then I'll be off to the old Pokemon League. But I'm loving how much longer this game is taking. Like, you can go to a town and it doesn't always have a gym in that town. I kind of like that. But yeah, I've still got quite a few ways to go. I like to spend a lot of time on the routes just because I want to make the game last as long as possible. So I'll go along and try and catch them all, as they say. Jalen Adams also said, did you know that Wolverine had a son? Yes, I did. He was in the Dark Avengers that Norman Osborn used to create in S.H.I.E.L.D. Siege. Yeah, I know obviously he had a son way before that, but yeah, he was used in the Dark Avengers that Norman Osborn created. Yusuf Yasir said, Dave, I've got great news. They're making a Mass Effect movie. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier. I think it was actually reading this comment that made me go and try and research it. But yeah. Carson Dickey asked, Dave, are you a virgin? Very much no. Daniel, yeah, moving swiftly on. I don't think there's really much more I can say about that. Daniel Kibler said, hey Dave, what do you think of Superior Spider-Man? As I say, I mentioned a lot of that earlier. I spoke about in quite a lot of older Captain's Quarters, and in this one I've mentioned quite a bit Superior Spider-Man. So in some, haven't really read him, so I can't really form an opinion, but I probably will one day. But nothing's ever going to compare to the good old Peter Parker in my books. Oh damn it, every time I go to say your name and I forget how to say it. Al-Kashira said, why do you upload a video way after recording it? It's not something like I sit there and I'm planning and laughing behind my desk when I do it. It's mainly because I did it more so with Mass Effect because it's such a large game, and I wanted to make sure I had it finished before I really got going with the uploads, because I didn't want it to become the next Fallout where I started recording it and then about halfway through I just stopped. So that's why I did that. Also, with me uploading a video every single day, if I didn't have loads of episodes backlogged and just ready to upload. I mean, right now I haven't recorded anything in about a month, and I finished recording my Mass Effect 2 walkthrough back mid to late August. I finished recording Mass Effect 2. I mean, it's all sitting there ready, edited on my PC, and I'm just uploading them, and that's how I do it. So in that way, like now, where I haven't been able to record for a month, if I didn't have that all recorded previously, I would have got to about episode 50 in Mass Effect, and then I would have had to exchange my Xbox, and then I'll be in the situation where I am now, and I would have nothing new uploaded for you guys. But where I recorded it way in advance, I can still upload episodes, even though I'm not recording anything right now, because I got it all backlogged, and I'm really glad that I did that with this, because I would have been a month now with uploading nothing. So I'm glad that I do it that way. And also, it's just so I normally like to do that, so as I say, you've always got content to watch. I try and upload at least one video every day. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. I just don't want to have like a couple of videos go up one day and then nothing for a week, and then 2 videos and then nothing for a week. You know, I like it to be consistent, so you know every single day, 6 PM England time and whatever time it is with you around the world, you get a video from the Captain, and that's just the way I want it to be honest. Alcashira also asked, what happened to Sergeant Skiddy? Good question. Not obviously I don't want to talk about my own my family and what goes on within my family too much, but Sergeant Skiddy was, I suppose the best way of putting it, without going into too much detail, a friend of the family, was a friend of the ex-partner of my sister, basically, and yeah, we used to play a lot and stuff like that back when the very first video on my channel. That was me, Sergeant Skiddy, and my brother, just sort of messing around on Nazi zombies. And then also had my Time Warp series where we just live commed it through every single Nazi zombie game with my very terrible microphone that I used at the time. And if we only lasted for a couple of minutes, that was it. That was that one done. If we lasted for half hour, then we lasted a half hour. So, and it was fun. But yeah, nothing really happened to him. It was just, he sat there and recorded that with me just for that set of videos, just because I asked him and he said yes. But it was never going to be a long-term thing. It was just for that set of videos. He's just off doing his thing now, as am I. But yeah, that's about it really. And it's just we need to come up with a name. So as I was Captain Dave, he came up with Sergeant Skiddy. So it just fit. But yeah, there you go. He didn't die. He didn't fall off the end of the earth or anything. We just went back to our lives. Giovanni asked, hey Dave, I just researched who the current members of the Avengers, and I'm naming ones from the comics and animated series including the main. So apparently, according to Giovanni, the current members of the Avengers are Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Hawkeye, Wolverine, Black Panther, Wasp, Miss Marvel, and Falcon. There's also more, but the list would be longer. Yeah, there's the Avengers. There's always tons. So, Giovanni also asked, here's a question that might bring a great childhood memory. How did you first get into Marvel superheroes? Ooh. It's hard to actually pinpoint the very first time I got into it. It was kind of like a mixture of loads of different things, just sort of made me get into it in a way. I don't remember the very first time I watched it. I think I remember one of the first times I remember enjoying it is we never had like Sky 1 and all the channels. We always had just 1 to 4 and then 1 to 5 when that eventually got released as well. But we only ever had the 4 or 5 channels. Growing up, it wasn't until I was like 15, 16 that we actually got Sky and Sky Movies and all that sort of stuff. So anytime I'd go around the house, he'd have Nickelodeon and stuff like that on, which are channels I'd never even seen before. And the 90s X-Men cartoon was on, because obviously that was what year it was. And yeah, that would be on, and I'd watch it and just be like, my mind was blown. I'd go around there and I didn't want to speak to any of them because I thought, this is amazing, this is so cool. But I remember at the time knowing they were the X-Men, like before I watched it. So there must have been a time before that, but that's the first memory I have in my head of when I remember loving X-Men and loving Spider-Man because of the Spider-Man 90s cartoon that was on as well. So they were the first times I remember really loving it, really wanting to watch it. But of course, I could only ever catch about 10 minutes of one episode every now and then, because it was only whenever we went round there to see them, which wasn't that often. But yeah, and as I got older, I didn't really know much about it. I'd play a game, like I played Ultimate Alliance and I played Justice League. That was back really before I'd got too much into it. I must have known something, because I knew all the characters. So I knew about them, but I never read any comics up until that point. So it's kind of, I don't know, I must be missing something, but I knew about them. And then it got to a point where I got a bit older, and I sat down and thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to watch the old X-Men animated series. And then I thought, do you know what? I'm going to watch the Spider-Man animated series. Or actually, I think it was the other way around. I watched Spider-Man, then I watched X-Men. And I fell in love with it. And then I signed up to Marvel Digital Comics Online. And I think the very first comic I remember reading from there was New Avengers. It was the one where they first formed the New Avengers, and Rikers Island, Jailbreak, and you got Luke Cage and Spider-Man and Wolverine and all that coming together. And yeah, you could read about the first half of that for free, and I thought that was brilliant. Started reading them, and then, you know, as they say, the rest is history from there. I started reading the Amazing Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, bit of New Avengers, all the comic book events I could get my hand on, and literally in the space of about a year, I crammed in 300, 400 issues of Spider-Man, Same for X-Men. Same for Fantastic Four. A good 100 odd of New Avengers. I read as many events as I could. I crammed in so much in 1 year. It was insane. I'd spend 6-7 hours just on my laptop, just one comic, next comic, next comic, next. It was going through it. Just I don't think I showered much. But yeah, so I think it was the 90s cartoons that really fueled my love for it. But anyway, coming near the end now. Just got 4 questions left, and oh my lord, nearly going for an hour and a half. This is a long one. Definitely got a podcast feel going to it now. And I'm definitely getting tired and my voice is dying. Donny Marvel said, "Hey Dave, just got Mass Effect 1 on my PC. Any tips for new players?" By the way, kudos for getting it on PC. I really wish I had got into PC gaming at a younger age. I feel now I'll just find it too difficult to make the switch. I will one day. I know I'll force myself to, but I feel if you want to get Mass Effect and you can play PC, I'd definitely say get it on PC. I think it looks better and plays better. But any tips? Always have Omnigel. Never ever run out of Omnigel. If you haven't created a tech character, so like if you're not somebody like an engineer or I don't know, someone like that who has a bit of tech skill yourself, always take a squad mate that has tech skill. And if you don't have tech skill yourself, always advance the squad mate or yourself that has the tech skill. Always advance that as quick as you can, because that obviously pertains to opening crates and unlocking side missions. Always do that. Always do side missions. It won't be cheating if you use a online reference to show you where all the minerals and stuff like that is. I'll definitely suggest using an online reference that pinpoints where all the minerals are, as opposed to just searching the planet, because you will be there for hours, trust me. That's how I did it the first time. So it was just took way too long. Always have tech skill. Always have tech skill. That's definitely one. Always upgrade it. Always have Omnigel. Yeah, that's something I always did. Give all your squad weapons, ammos, upgrades, stuff like that. Convert all the pants stuff to Omnigel, and then just sell the rest, and then you'll be getting your Spectre gear in no time. But yeah, that's the advice I'd give you. And always sit behind cover. Don't run out. Don't be a fool. You can't run and gun in Mass Effect. Unless you're really beefed up in Mass Effect 3, you can't really run and gun. I'd say keep your cover, keep your distance, and just sacrifice your team if necessary. You can always get them back up again. Alexander said, "Good evening." Or morning, where you're from. It is 3:50 here in the afternoon, so good afternoon to you. What did you think of the first Avengers movie, and what are you looking forward to in the second one? I love the first Avengers movie. I thought it was very good, especially that one scene in New York where it's that one camera angle just constantly going between all the characters, and it never cuts. And it's primarily Iron Man, because he can lead on between every single character, because he flies, and then it goes to Hawkeye, and then he fires his arrow and it goes past Hulk. And I loved that. I thought that especially was well done. But no, I thought the first Avengers movie was very well done. Didn't think anything less of Joss Whedon. I expected something great from him, and he definitely delivered. And second Avengers film, I'm actually really looking forward to, because apparently it's based around Age of Ultron, and I have not read Age of Ultron yet. I know absolutely nothing about Age of Ultron, except for the fact they say a lot of heroes die. And so yeah, I was interested in reading that, and now I've heard that the second Avengers film is going to be based around Age of Ultron. Hell, I'm very excited to be reading that, or watching that anyway. But as I am with nearly every Marvel film, I don't think there's any Marvel film I don't look forward to be honest with you. Unless it's Deadpool. Unless it's Daredevil. But Gareth Vakarian asked, "Hey Dave, have you played Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2 on the PS2? And if so, what did you think about them? And what do you think about them making a third one?" I haven't played any of them, so I don't really have any thoughts on them making the third one, unfortunately. Also, one more thing, which TV shows do you watch and why do you like them? Right now is a great time for TV shows because they're all coming back. And it's just a beautiful time to be me right now. You got I watch Marvel's Shield, which I think is alright. It's got a lot of potential. I watched The Walking Dead. Just awesome, always. Everyone always says The Walking Dead is 40 minutes of nothing and then a cliffhanger. But I like it. I like The Walking Dead. I like how they keep evolving it. They don't just do the same crap each season. Like that one season you got this, and the second season was quite slow and boring. It was more like a drama. But then third season they mixed it up. Now fourth season they've got a lot more characters, and I feel they can do probably a lot more now with regards to people dying by zombie attacks because they've got more characters. Which, getting back to the core of it being a zombie program, I think is quite good. Revolution season 2, that's starting back up. Still got the first episode of that to watch. Season 1 took a long time to get going. I was not very sure about that show. I nearly stopped watching it. But then it started getting going, and by the time it ended, I was actually quite pumped for second season. So it's not my favourite show, but Revolution is quite good. Definitely looking forward to Game of Thrones starting back up. That, as everyone will tell you, insanely awesome. Just can't wait for that. That's definitely good. There's a new program I was going to start watching called Monday Mornings. It's like a sort of doctory sort of thing. I just saw it had Dr. Octopus in it, and you had me sold. And Apollo from Battlestar Galactica. So, hell, you have them two in it, you're sold. And then, of course, being a healthcare assistant, it's a hospital-based show. You've got my 3 things that I need in it, so I'm there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That starts today, actually, so I'm looking forward to that. And then there's plenty of other shows that aren't on at the moment, which I watch. I'm forgetting them. Supernatural, I'm watching season 8 of Supernatural right now. Love Supernatural, as you know from the my Mass Effect The Road So Far, which I'm editing Mass Effect 2 The Road So Far right now, so that's coming along nicely. I'm looking forward to that. But I'm forgetting. There's loads of shows I'm forgetting. There's loads of shows I've watched in the past. House, fantastic. 24, awesome. Fringe, awesome. Not ashamed to admit it, I watched Grey's Anatomy. Oh god, I'm waiting for the comments on that one. Loads of shows I've watched in the past. My Name is Earl, Heroes, Lost. If it's on TV, I'll most likely watch it. Stuff I really want to watch and I haven't. Breaking Bad. I can't believe I never watched that. I watched the first 6 episodes and then my Netflix crashed and I never saw past that. I know it's on Netflix now. So, yeah, I definitely want to watch Breaking Bad. Everyone told me Prison Break was good. Never really saw that. How I Met Your Mother, awesome. Definitely love that. There's so many shows. I'm very much a TV person. I love TV series. I watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I watched Angel. That's why I know Joss Whedon's a legend. But it's so many shows I love and watch. I could sit here just all day listing them off. So. And very last question comes from Geek Space. What a good way to end the Captain's Quarter. Says, Dave, old buddy, old pal, can you do a walkthrough of the misadventure? Can you do a walkthrough of the misadventures of Dolph? I hear that game is awesome. Oh dear. No, I was going to say those of you who don't know, but none of you will know. The Misadventures of Dolph is a game that me and Tommy from Geek Space and oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. Someone else from our class. I'm forgetting his name already. That's really quite bad. Chris from old college. Yeah, I forget which lesson it was. That shows how much we paid attention. I think it was one of the game design lessons. But we had to create a 2D side-scroller game. And we called it The Misadventures of Dolph. It was about this lovable little green alien whose spaceship had crashed over all different time and spaces, and he had to go through collecting all the pieces of his ship so he could teleport to the next location and eventually trying to get home. So, yeah, that was The Misadventures of Dolph. To say it was a good game would be a flat-out lie. Sorry, Tommy, but it's the truth. We got the distinction for it, though. We got the D, so... It was worthwhile in the end. I think what was most entertaining about it, other than the fact we put, I think, combined like 6 hours worth of work into it and somehow come out with distinction, I think is somewhat miraculous. I think it should have just be called The Misadventures of Dave and Tommy, to be honest with you. But I think what is the best thing about it is we had to come up with a group name for our, say, air quotes, company. It was just like us three. But we had to come up with a name. So, being the mature students that we were, we came up with players of our planet, which, if you are to shorten it down just to the first letters, became poop. Oh, we're such mature students. So then it was especially quite hilarious when we had to stand up in front of the class and do a presentation, and behind us are just the 4 letters spelling out poop. So fun times, and what better way to end the Captain's Quarters episode 6 at a record-breaking 1 hour and 34 minutes. Oh, good God. This has been a long one. This has definitely been a long one. But, what a great way to end an episode. But anyway, as always, if you have any questions or comments you want to ask me for next week's Captain's Quarters, feel free to leave it in the comments section down below. But as for now, as always, my name's Captain Dave. This has been the Captain's Quarters, and I'll catch you guys later.